Hi everyone, and welcome to the first video of my YouTube channel and my YouTube series called the BenzoFree Guru. My name is Erin, and I am here to share my own personal message and my own personal story about coming off benzodiazepine. Benzodiazepine is a very, very strong medication. It is one that is extremely challenging to come off of and one of the most highly addictive ones. I was taking a benzo, and I was taking Klonopin, or the generic of Klonopin is clonazepam, which I ended up taking in the end. That is the benzo I was taking for anxiety and panic. I was prescribed this medication about 12 years ago. These certain medications are only supposed to be prescribed for about 3 to 4 weeks. They are meant for short term only. And unfortunately what happens is they work so well, people just keep taking them. As the story of myself, I had tried many medications in the past, and nothing ever came close to what this medication did for me. Now, mind you, it's taken me a long time to get to that space to be like, oh, I was grateful for what it did then. And I can still say that now. It was just coming off of it was an intense experience. And I knew I wanted to share my message and my stories because I wanted to share how positive I kept my story. In the throes of withdrawal and some of the darkest times in my life, I knew I would make it through so I could help other people, or at least so I could encourage others that want to come off this medication, and let people know that it is doable, that it can be done. If I can do it, you can do it. Like, it's so possible. It gets really scary, but if you set up a plan and you go forward with it, it can happen. I had set myself forward into this about 4 years ago, so it was about a 4-year process. And, you know, I'm really happy to be sitting here today free of this drug that I've been taking for years. You know, so on the 21st of December, I celebrated a year benzo-free, which is like a big thing for me. I had never in a million years thought that I would be able to come off this medication. You know, some years back when I started taking it, it was like the best thing in the world. And then about a few years ago, it was the worst thing in the world. I had felt worse than I ever have in my entire life. I didn't want to leave the house. I was dealing with agoraphobia. I was going to work, and by the time I got there, I was in full-blown panic for most of the time I was there. And then after all of this panic and anxiety, I would end up so tired on the other side. So, you know, the next day I would be sleeping all day and trying to like re-nourish my body from all the fight or flight and adrenaline that had been pumping through it. You know, so it was just like I was on this vicious cycle of being up and down. And I started kind of questioning everything. And then I found information on the internet, and I just was like, whoa, it like was mind-blowing to me. And it pretty much kind of pointed me in the direction that the medication I was on was making me really sick. And supposedly, or I mean, I believe now that for most people, what it does is it kind of just can work the reverse opposite. It helps in the beginning, and then obviously since you're not supposed to be taking it for that long, it kind of stops working, and it just works against your body. But I knew that I could really complete this goal if I put my head into it. I moved away. I did everything I possibly could. I went to acupuncture 3 times a week. I took things out of my diet. I mean, I learned all these things that I want to share with people, and you know, everyone's experience is completely different. But I just know that my tools could be useful for a lot of people. I've been struggling this with my entire life, and at this point I feel really good about what's going on. You know, I do certain things that really keep my, you know, panic and anxiety at a minimum, you know, and I'm just learning to like function in a world with it, where before I never dealt with it. I was just taking a pill, and fine, that worked for then, but it can't continue to work now, you know. So I am here, and my intention is I'm going to do like a kind of a series. So I want to talk about my experience and topics that come up when you're dealing with coming off this type of medication. You know, there's things like cold turkey and interdose withdrawal, liquid taper. That's what I did on the tail end of ending this medication. So I want to, you know, talk about that topic and then share a story that correlates with that topic. I am just going to do my best to be here and be kind of like a supportive source for people that are in the space of looking to maybe come off this medication, they've tried it and haven't been successful, or they just want to kind of mull it around in their head for a bit. I mean, I know I did. When I first started looking, I kind of let it stew for a bit and got myself really, really prepared. And this is nothing more in this world that I want to do, is to extend out to people and just be like, here's my information. This is like how hard I worked in everything I did to get through this in the most positive way possible. And I remember telling myself that, like, in the throes of the worst of withdrawals, when I was at some of the darkest times, I would tell myself that when I completed this goal, that I could share this information with people, and that made me really happy. It made me keep striving. It made me, like, go forward and be like, I can do this. I can do this because this information is going to be valuable. I can use it to help people, and I can just make this happen in my life. I can take my life back. And it was one of the hardest things I had ever done. And it's one of the things that I think will probably be the most serving in my life. I don't know. But anyway, so without rambling on, I thank you for watching. I'm really excited again to be here. And I'm going to be back next week. So please tune in. And again, thanks for watching.